Master Cartographer James stood inside the vault of the Royal Institute while 5 masked mercenaries pointed loaded crossbows directly at his chest. On the obsidian table between them lay a parchment that bled silver ink. It was an impossible map detailing the lost realm of Ethelgard, a city that had been erased from reality 3 centuries ago. If James surrendered the map, the Empire would burn, but if he refused, a bolt through his heart would render his life work meaningless. Only hours earlier, James had unlocked the vault using an ancestral bronze key passed down through generations of Imperial surveyors. The ancient key bore strange notches along its spine that matched no standard lock in the city. As he unrolled the silver map, the parchment glowed with cold starlight. It depicted mountain ranges of forgotten empires and rivers that flowed backward toward forgotten skies. A hooded mercenary stepped forward, his blade reflecting the eerie luminescent ink of the parchment. "Hand over the map of non-existent realms, old man," the assassin hissed, his voice echoing against the cold granite walls. James noticed that the assassin wore a gilded ring depicting an hourglass with no sand. It was the mark of the Chrono Order, fanatical zealots who hunted forgotten knowledge. James gripped the edge of the heavy obsidian table, calculating his escape. The room held no hidden doors, only shelves filled with leather-bound ledgers documenting centuries of imperial expansions. Curiously, every ledger written in the year of the Great Cataclysm bore the exact same handwriting as James' own journals. He slid his thumb over the edge of the silver map, feeling a strange warmth radiating into his fingertips. With a sudden desperate push, James flipped the massive obsidian table directly into the path of the crossbowman. Bolts splintered against the thick stone table as James snatched the bleeding parchment and threw himself through the glass window of the tower. He fell into the stormy night, clutching the map against his chest as wind whipped through his velvet robes. Instead of plunging to his death upon the cobblestones below, James felt the silver ink on the parchment burst into radiant luminescence. The wind caught his cloak like a sail as the parchment bent space around him. He plummeted into a blinding swirl of silver fog, tumbling through a rift in reality itself. When the mist cleared, James collapsed onto a ridge of white stone overlooking a colossal forgotten capital. Spire upon spire of pearl and sapphire towered into a violet sky illuminated by 2 pale moons. It was Ethelgard, the very city depicted on his map, untouched by time and completely devoid of human life. James scrambled to his feet, examining the parchment in disbelief. The silver ink was shifting before his very eyes, erasing the city structures and redrawing them to match his current location. He traced his fingers along the outer wall depicted on the parchment, noticing a small inscription carved near the map border. The handwriting was unmistakably his own. "How could my name be written on an artifact created 300 years ago?" James shouted into the silent void of the empty metropolis. His voice echoed through deserted marble plazas and abandoned grand amphitheaters. Suddenly, footfalls resonated from the main avenue behind him. Out from the shadow of a massive archway marched the leader of the Chrono Order, surrounded by armored warriors. "We have chased your legacy across centuries, Master Cartographer," the leader declared, raising a crystal staff surging with temporal energy. "You believed you were mapping the past, but you were creating it." James froze as the truth washed over him like ice water. The silver ink was not revealing lost places of the world. The map was consuming reality. Every city James had ever drawn upon that parchment had vanished from the mortal realm, pulled directly into this empty dimension of preserved stone. "Look upon your grand architecture," the zealot roared, gesturing to the silent pearl towers around them. 300 years ago, you were the grand architect of this empire. You created this map to save your people from an impending cosmic disaster, wiping their homes from history to keep them immortal within this pocket world. Memory flooded into James' mind like a dam breaking open. He remembered sitting at this very drawing desk 3 centuries ago, dipping his pen into liquid starfire. He had traded his own memories to power the magic of the parchment, leaving himself a mortal cartographer in the real world while his creation slept in eternity. "You forgot your own creation, but we did not." The zealot cried, raising his staff to strike. We will use your map to erase every city of the current empire and claim this immortal realm for ourselves. James grabbed the silver map with both hands and tore the corner of the parchment. Thunder echoed through the violet sky as the pearl spires began to dissolve into shimmering dust. The zealots screamed as the temporal rift opened once more, pulling the invaders into the void. James stood firm amidst the collapsing reality, holding the torn map above his head as light consumed the land. With a final flash of blinding silver illumination, James found himself standing back in his quiet study at the Royal Institute. The storm outside had passed, and the morning sun filtered through the broken window. On his desk lay a blank sheet of parchment and a quill resting in dark black ink. James walked to the window and looked down upon the bustling streets of the capital city below. He picked up his pen, dipping it into the inkwell, and smiled with quiet understanding. He would map the world as it was, protecting the realm of mortals from the ink of eternity forever.